Look at this picture of a person typing on their smartphone. If you've asked a digital assistant a question recently, you know the routine. You type a prompt, wait half a second, and a perfectly typed answer appears on your screen. But that answer didn't materialize out of thin air. The moment you press send, your request leaves your phone, travels through miles of fiber optic cables, and arrives at a massive industrial warehouse packed with thousands of computers running at full speed. Interacting with an AI is a lot like sitting at a table in a high-end restaurant. You order your meal, and it arrives looking beautiful on the plate. But you are completely blind to the chaotic, highly specialized kitchen working behind the swinging doors to make it happen. When you read the news, it sounds like every major tech company is racing against each other to build the best artificial intelligence. But they aren't actually competing for the exact same job in that kitchen. To see how the business actually works, we need to divide this industry into 4 distinct layers: the physical kitchen where the cooking happens, the master recipe being followed, the private caterers handling special orders, and finally, the dining room where you take a seat. We have to start at the bottom layer. In our restaurant, this is the building itself and the commercial stoves required to cook anything at scale. In technology, we call this physical infrastructure. Take a look at this aerial photograph of a sprawling data center complex. This is what the cloud actually looks like. It requires a massive amount of physical real estate, heavy-duty cooling systems, and electricity to process millions of requests at once. Amazon plays the role of the ultimate landlord here. Through their cloud division, they own and maintain these massive arrays of servers, making their money by renting out raw computing power to other businesses who need to cook up their own data. Meanwhile, Alphabet, the parent company of Google, even designs its own specialized computing chips. Think of them as custom-built ovens designed exclusively to bake artificial intelligence tasks faster and more efficiently than a standard computer ever could. Without this deeply physical layer of concrete, steel, and silicon, none of the intelligent apps on your phone could even turn on. Once you have the kitchen built, you need someone who knows how to cook. Moving one step up, we find the foundational software models, the master chefs and their recipes. Some companies prefer to handle multiple jobs. Alphabet acts as both the kitchen and the chef. They build their own complex AI models and serve them directly to billions of users through platforms like Search and YouTube. Microsoft takes a slightly different approach. Instead of trying to get you to visit a new restaurant, they are taking their AI and placing it directly into the word processors, spreadsheets, and email programs you already use at work every single day. The main job of this software layer is translation. It takes the raw electrical calculating power from the servers and turns it into tools you can actually recognize and interact with, like a blank document that can draft its own paragraphs. This is where raw data is organized and packaged into a profitable, repeatable recipe that can be served to millions of people simultaneously. But a major bank or a hospital cannot exactly send your private financial records or medical history into a public kitchen. They need absolute privacy. Looking at this text from IBM's financial filings, we see they focus on the work that simply cannot afford to fail, helping massive organizations build secure systems for their most essential, high-stakes tasks. They act as high-end consultants for these private kitchens. Oracle plays a highly complementary role in this private space. They provide the secure, enterprise-grade databases that large businesses need to organize all their private information before the AI can even read it. Once the meal is cooked, whether in a massive public kitchen or a secure private one, it finally has to be served. That brings us to the very top of our supply chain, the dining room. Look at this photograph of someone testing the Apple Vision Pro headset in a store. Apple dominates this final layer. They focus heavily on the physical screens, the speakers, and the interfaces that you actually touch and see. By owning the dining room, a company controls the entire presentation. They hold the ultimate power to decide which AI services are allowed on their devices, dictating exactly how you get to experience the final product. When we zoom out, the restaurant metaphor fades, and we are left with a clear picture of a layered technology stack. From Amazon and Oracle managing the heavy infrastructure at the bottom, up through Microsoft and Alphabet writing the software, guided by IBM's consulting, all the way to the Apple device in your pocket. The next time you see an announcement about artificial intelligence, you can place it exactly where it belongs. You will know if a company is building a larger facility at the bottom layer or just updating the screen interface at the top layer. You can also clearly see how fragile the system is. A shortage of computer chips in the bottom infrastructure layer will eventually cause delays and higher costs for the final software reaching your phone. Artificial intelligence relies on a massive, physical, highly interconnected supply chain. Now that you know how the kitchen operates, you know exactly who is cooking your meal.